Hi everyone, so I'm Lana, this is Pooh. So we're Donald's children. But first of all, we just want to thank you all for coming to his funeral, for the love and for the prayers you have given us. My dad was a very interesting person. Y'all all know him as the man at Walmart on the scooter, or going to the multiple yard sales he went to every weekend. And I'm pretty sure there's some yard sale buddies up in here if you can wave your hand. Hallelujah, yes, yes, God. And the one thing I want to say about my dad, he was faithful. And what I mean by faithful, he was a diehard Cowboys fan. And the last time the Cowboys went to the Super Bowl was 1996, like when they won it. And I was like, well, my dad was literally holding on for that long when it came down to the Cowboys. When I say even in the hospital, he was in the hospital for 2 months. He tried to delay his surgery because the Cowboys were playing. But he ended up having the surgery the day that the Cowboys actually played. So when I say diehard, he was a little far out there. He was a proud vet. So he was a Gulf War vet. If there's any of his, I don't know how to say it correctly, military, Comrade, thank you. If you serve with him, could you please stand so we can just recognize you, because thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your service. I'm going to tell you one thing about Daddy. When he was in that hospital, he had 2 amputations, okay? When it came down to, Daddy, how you feel? He was like, I'm a Gulf War vet. And I'm like, well, Daddy, what they got to do with your leg, or you know what's going on? But he always went back to being in war. And he looked at war and he kept saying, I fought the good fight. And I was like, okay, you fighting. But his spirit, his optimism, like, it was unmatched. And it's something that I won't take for granted. So for special things, no, let me get back. My dad, he was a proud father, but he was more proud as a grandfather to his grandchild Gabby, like obsessed. So that was his baby. But special things, I want to recognize my mama, because my daddy would say in the hospital, he would say, you don't find a woman like that. Like, you can't find somebody like that who's gonna keep you alive. And my parents, they got their story, but the one thing about Donald and Annie, she would check him every day. But my dad said, he was like, whatever I gotta do, he said, I'm gonna take care of her. And my mama took care of my daddy to the end. So they kept them vows to the end. Now, the rest is history with that, but I want to shout my mama out because she was doing some stuff, like my mama really sacrificed. And when you talk about sacrificing, she sacrificed in a way that I've never seen my mama sacrifice before. And I'm talking about, like, this woman she left her job to take care of my daddy. You don't find a woman that's gonna leave her income to take care of my daddy. So please recognize my mama, because she did more than anybody when it came down to that man. She went to the end. And then we want to give special thanks to John Wayne, who was like his caretaker, who checked in on him every day, to Thomas and Virginia Williams, to Billy Johnson, like his best friends that he talked about all the time, like literally. But the last thing I want to leave when we talk about grief, because if y'all don't know, I do prayer every week. And the one thing God gave me about grief in the Bible, in Exodus 17, it talks about when Joshua was fighting the Amalekites, and Moses said, I'm gonna go up to the hill. So Aaron and Hur, they went up to the hill with Moses. So when they went to the top of the hill, every time that Moses had his hands up, the Israelites, they were winning. But what happened was when Moses got tired, so when we talk about being tired, we talk about grief. When we talk about grief, we talk about, okay, I'm going through, I'm not having a good day, it's hour by hour. But when we talk about grief, you get tired. So Moses, he got tired. But when he got tired and his hands went down, that's when they started losing. So God said, who's gonna keep your hands up? So when you look at my mama, you look at John Wayne, you look at Thomas, you look at Billy, you look at Pooh, you look at myself, I'm sorry to touch you. When you look at us, who's gonna keep our hands up? Because somebody in this room lost the part when Donald Allen went. Okay? So when you think about grief, God had to share with me. He said, you got to keep your hands up, because as your days are, so shall your strength be. And that's in the Bible too. So when we look at it, you have to be willing to reach out, to speak, to say, hey, how's your day? How are you going? His sisters, his brothers are here, his nephews are here. So we're so grateful that you all showed up. We're so grateful that you're here and that you're present and that you're aware, because we woke up this morning and we don't take that for granted. And the fact that my heart is still beating, the fact that we're still here to tell the story of who Donald Allen is. Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. So when it comes down to who Donald is, we don't play about that. So my daddy, that's who he is. Now, he was a peculiar person, but he's still my daddy. So I love y'all. Thank you so much.
My sister, she just preached her sermon. Just right quick, thank you again for coming out. One of the things I loved about my daddy, he never met a stranger. Never met a stranger. I got on Gabrielle one time because she was, acting funny. And I was like, how are you acting funny? Well, your pawpaw will get out in the middle of the street to say hey to somebody. I said, I can't believe it. Is that not the truth? That's the truth. And he loved being around people. And I loved it during the time that he was sick. He still made friends. He still kept talking. He still kept on going. And that's the motivation that I think about each and every day. And I do want to thank my mama, because my mama is a trooper. She's a trooper. Amen. We bump heads, but I tell you one thing. That thing, she got up and she went every day to go see Donald Lee Allen in the hospital. I took scratching his back, making for sure his hair was combed. I said, look at them. I call him my Cookie and Lucius. Now, if you know,